friends, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and today's video is about how I use wish lists in my planner. I'm going to give a little bit more explanation on that, but also I'm just going to share how to use a plain grid paper like this and lay it out differently so that it can serve you in your planner. I want to start out by saying that I was inspired to use wish lists from Ashley Elise. She has great content here on YouTube. She is not currently sharing, but I will link her account below because she has some really fantastic plan with me's, and she just has great ideas. And in one of her videos, she mentioned how she was using wish lists as an effort to put a little bit more time between the desire to purchase something and the actual purchase. And I thought that that was fantastic. There are a lot of times that I can think back on where I've impulse purchased something and it's fine, like the money was there, it wasn't that I was doing myself harm, but the reality is when you purchase one thing, well, you can't have everything. So I like to kind of list out all the things that are catching my eye, and then I can make a decision based on prioritizing those things. So by taking the time to write it down somewhere in my planner, it's forcing me to kind of weigh it out to decide, is that something I want this month? Is it something I need immediately? Is it something that I could wait on because I'd rather have this other item that's been on my list for a while? So silly stuff like that, but I just wanted to share this because I felt like it's a tool that I'm using in my planner. And then even like I said, specifically, I'm using actual pages and breaking them down to serve me as well. So you can hopefully see here, there is a faint line that divides this grid paper into quadrants, and I decided to add that. It's optional. You can definitely make one list per page, but I felt like 4 lists per page was going to benefit me in this because I could squeeze a little bit more information on, and I could cover at least 4 topics and not have to take up 4 sheets in my planner. So let's catch up to what I've been doing here. You can see I divided this into home, self-care, wardrobe, and planner, and then I highlighted it with a Tombow, and then that wasn't enough either, so I added a couple of little icons that I found in my stash, and then I hand drew a couple that I did not have in my stash. I'll be the first to admit, yes, the icons and the colors are unnecessary. However, they do draw me back to this page more frequently, which then means I'll use it, which then means hopefully I put a little bit more time in between my purchases and my impulses. I don't know if you caught it, but I do love taking an icon and then layering it with a transparent dot. I feel like that's just been really fun way to emphasize them so they have a little bit more weight on my page, and you'll see that I did that here. So my 4 categories are probably different than yours, but this is where I'm starting with this example to just show you. These are the things that I tend to have control over in our purchasing, and so these are the things that I'm going to focus on. Fun fact, when I vacuum, I have the most amazing ideas for ways to improve our house. Like when I'm in a room and I'm just sitting in there for 5-10 minutes, I'm looking around the whole time and I'm envisioning the type of furniture I'd want, maybe a built-in in a certain area. Like I have amazing ideas. So this paper is a great spot for me to head to when I'm finished. Like, okay, I just vacuumed the guest room and here's all the ideas I thought of. It's kind of dangerous. I really shouldn't be allowed to vacuum. But it's a really good way for me to get these ideas down, and therefore I'm not forgetting them, thinking about them again in 6 months, and then all that time was lost when we could have been saving away for a little project. This page is a little redundant. I already had the home category on that first initial page, but that's kind of like, oh, overview, like overall, maybe paint outside, but this gets way more in depth with the specific areas and the specific rooms. Okay, next up, of course, we all need a planner wish list, right? That's what's kind of funny. This one, I definitely don't have that many ideas. Like I could not list, 900 things I needed to buy for my planner. So I thought I would take this one a different route and again, just kind of show you guys how to take the plain grid and make it work for you. I'm feeling pretty content in my current setups, but of course there's always room to improve. So I thought I would divide this into different categories like accessories, like pens and markers, stamps and inks, and then of course at the bottom I have a category just for 2023. Hemlock and Oak is working on a disc-bound release for 2023, so I am going to be all over that one. So while I see myself primarily using this just as a place to jot some ideas of products that I've come across, I thought it wouldn't hurt to just go ahead and add some of these columns at the end here that would show, hey, yeah, did I purchase it, or if I wanted to jot down how much money it was. I think I end up doing it in order of like, yeah, how much was the item? Did I order it? Like, if so, what date? Was it shipped? And then did I receive it? So those are fun things. Those are pretty detailed. I don't always do a great job of coming back and tracking those things, but the spot is here in case I need it, and I still have plenty of room over there on the left to write just the items as they come into my head. So of course I take a second here and brainstorm some of the things that I've thought of recently. I have side tab dividers right now in my half letter setup, and they're great. I love them, but they are kind of running into my pen on the side there in the pen loop. So I'm thinking, ooh, if I could find those or have some custom made for the top, that'd be awesome. You're gonna see in my stamps and ink, maybe you're gonna see, I love all the Carrie Bradford stamps. She does some really cool graphic stuff that I just absolutely love, but they're spendy, so I kind of have to pace myself out. And then I do come back up and write down the stamp market. They have the little cubes, and I feel like now that I have the hemlock and oak and it's more ink tolerant, I feel like I already purchased them in the past, and I think I need to repurchase them, which is terrible. But I got rid of a lot of stuff when I moved away from Idaho, and I'm very picky about what I've added back, but I feel like those might make the cut. I have been using a lot more yearly and quarterly overviews in my planner this year as I try to work through some goals for myself and my husband and just kind of embrace a new world that we're living in as empty nesters. And one of the things that we want to do is to travel. And so obviously, like, it's not really a wish list, but it is kind of like a bucket list. Like, hey, where would we want to go? What month would we want to go there? And I feel like this is a really great space to house some of those ideas. So I, instead of using all 4 quadrants here, I went ahead and just did like 3 so that I have each quarter represented on a sheet. And it's definitely aiming more towards like travel and experiences than it is necessarily like wish list items. As I look at these laid out, I really wish that I would have left the open space in the middle. So like September gone to that far right quadrant, that would have been smart. But it's not a big deal, and these are primarily for my own consumption, so I'll be fine. So while I have this fancy finances section in my planner, technically I wouldn't say that you'd find a budget in here. It's not the typical finance that you would think of, but it does help me prepare for our budget meetings. So the more that I can write down as these ideas pop into my head, the more I can prepare myself and my husband for future purchases. So ideally, like, I think of these things, I come to the monthly budget meeting saying, hey, for example, it's July next month and I know I want to buy sheets at the Nordstrom anniversary sale. He's like, okay, he buffs up our home supply budget that month to cover it, and that is a perfect world. Does everything work that smoothly? Sadly, no, but I feel like the more we communicate about it, the more I pull these ideas out of my head, the better off we are. Oh, but hold on. Wish lists are not only in the back of my planner. You're going to see they're here on my monthly pages as well. This is where I take all that information and I kind of, you know, prioritize and I decide what is it that I want to present at the budget meeting, what are the things that I feel like are needing to be purchased this month. So that's what this little list is for. You'll see my planner list doesn't make an appearance here, and that's because I basically fund that myself, like with my YouTube revenue or Etsy shop sales. That's how I choose to purchase my planner goodies, but the rest of these do come from our shared budget. So I like to have those there right in front of me so that I can kind of see what we're working on and what our priority is for the month. I'll wrap this up, but I just wanted to thank you for joining me. If you've watched this far, I hope that you have gotten some ideas, whether that's about wish lists or just about some ideas for taking a grid page and putting them to work for you in a different format than you might have thought of before. And I appreciate you joining me. If you've made it this far and you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like, a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe so that you won't miss what's next. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.